Um, you didn't mention, but you've done a lot of channeling of Dr. Peebles yourself.
Yes, I have.
For many years.
Which is, yeah, it's an interesting, certainly an interesting process, as you know. I can talk about, it's just that, I mean, he's a very powerful presence. It took a while for me to not pay attention. That was the hardest thing for me, because when William comes through my body and words are coming out of my mouth, I think I'm supposed to hear it. I think I'm supposed to listen to it, and it was quite a discipline. It still is to just walk away in a way, to just walk into another room, get involved in something else. On in the background in my mind and like that, and I've gone in and out of that practice, depending upon what's going on. William and I have talked about this, that after having general anesthesia, in the hospital for something, well, it takes a while to open that up again.
Yeah.
I mean, those drugs are really powerful. I asked an anesthesiologist once, "What is it that makes us go to sleep?" And he said, "We don't know."
You're right.
They don't know. And he said, if anybody tells you that they do know, they're wrong. He said, because we actually don't know. We just know that this drug makes you do this, it makes you go to sleep, but they don't know how it works. But I can tell you that after those experiences, it takes a while to be able to channel again, and at that level.
I do understand. My recovery after that year plus in the hospital, it took a long time to get back into really functionability on this level.
Mm-hmm. And that's saying something, because you're one of the strongest channels I know.
Thank you.
Strongest channels, and it's interesting the effect that it has on the body. I haven't done like a whole day of channeling like you have, William, that you would do practically every day. But every once in a while, when I would channel, I would wind up feeling so much better than when I started. There's, that can happen too, where I'm being given a gift as I'm giving the gift of channeling.
It's giving and receiving, yes.
Yeah, that's a lovely experience.
And I like how you mentioned earlier about channeling your higher self. I totally am in congruence with that. Channeling Dr. Peebles is definitely something that William is adept at, and you are as well. I'm just saying that when you mention channeling your higher self, like, that really is a direct revelation that all of us need to be able to utilize in our lives.
Yeah. I've had 2 near-death experiences, and the first near-death experience that I had, just briefly, that I had left my body, and I was, above it in a manner of speaking, and they're working on my body down below. And what was interesting is that I felt like I could put my hand through that body. That body did not feel substantial, but the perspective I was coming from felt substantial.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
but that just felt like a dream down there from that perspective. And the other thing that happened, the second time it happened, was, years later, 18 years later, something like that. I had I'm not sure what was going on, but I was leaving my body. I was not breathing. I was just, something happened. Everything locked up. I couldn't breathe, and I was just fading. And I felt myself lifting back up out of my body, and I said, "Stop." Because I was partway out of the body, and I'm looking down at the top of my head, which was getting a little tiny bald spot at the time, I was looking at that and going, "Wow, look at that." And I did that because I wanted to feel everything. I wanted to know what was happening and experienced everything that the body was going through. But I also wanted to experience not being a body at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So being halfway out, to make a long story short, one of the gifts that I got from that was realizing that in reference to my comment about channeling ourselves every day, is that we have this spirit that's focused in this pinpoint of physical existence, that we've made an agreement to be with this body. It's literally like a marriage. We've agreed to this. We are present in this body, and this body has grown up and evolved and had its traumas and histories and pleasures and joys and triumphs and all of that sort of stuff. But the spirit is eternal, and it's been there this whole time. So the sensation that I had, if I want to call it that, was here's this body who's really struggling and in pain, and there was this part of me who was watching this, observing this, going, oh, sweetheart, you're having a hard time. What can we do for you? It was like this completely benevolent, non-judgmental, peaceful place that my higher self was coming from for this Kevin personality that was having a rough go here. So that just really clued me into the relationship of the spirit that we carry in the body, that comes in every morning, and we get up and we can feel however we feel. We can feel like shit. We can feel like, great, let's get into it. Any number of things. And we can wake up into a body that's in pain and, struggling, or a body that's eager to get up and do some yoga and get out there, I mean, there's just any number of things, but the spirit is consistent. It's eternal. It just comes in, and it's our ability to open to it and to be in the present moment. And it's a kind of a mindfulness practice to be aware that we are the spirit that's in this body.
Yes.
And whether you're conscious of it or not, that's still the deal.
Yeah.
That's just the way that one works. So I love that.
And we signed on for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that idea of allowing. That's where a lot of us are at now. There's so much magic and miracles in our daily wakings. We just have to allow that.
Well, I can certainly speak to a lifetime of being resistant.
That could be like a whole nother show topic for many lifetimes, isn't it? But isn't that amazing how you catch it? Yeah. And you don't have to catch everything. You just have to catch the major things that are holding up that three-legged tripod.
Years ago, there was someone else who channeled Dr. Peebles. Who I met Dr. Peebles through someone else, two other people before I met William. Mm-hmm. So we're talking, Pleistocene era. And there was a mutual friend who, in fact, knew my birthday was coming up and she wanted to give me something. And she just happened to ask Dr. Peebles what to give me. So he told her to get one of those, it was popular at the time, it was like a foam core map of the constellations and the stars and all of that stuff. And it had glow-in-the-dark stars on it. So you light it up and put it up at night. And she said, give that to him and tell him to put it over his bed at night. And every one of those dots to focus on a lifetime he's had there.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And I went, okay, old soul.
Yeah.
And I love that the Dr. Peebles, was that you? I don't know if it was you or Thomas who was channeling Dr. Peebles at a crystal convention in Santa Monica many, many years ago. And all the New Age glitterati were there with all of their...
I love it, New Age glitterati.
All their...
New Age glitterati.
All their crystals and rhinestones and...
All the woo-wah. All the woo-wah.
Yeah, and tiaras. I mean, it was a very, funny-looking thing. And Dr. Peebles said, how many people in here feel that they are an old soul? And all these hands go up, and he said, do you know what an old soul is? A slow learner.
I love that one. Yeah.
That's good. I love that one.
And the hands kind of like, oh, okay.
Took the zazzle out of that. That's a good one. Yeah.
We've had...